Hello once again, everybody. This is you-know-who, Greg, a.k.a. Crazy G, with New England Concert Reviews. As always, I'm doing the interview thing, and today we have a very special guest. He just embarked on a solo career, and he is also the bass player for the band Trixter. His name is PJ Farley, and I want to take the time right now to say hello, welcome, and thanks for taking the time to speak with us here at NECR. How is it going?
Hi, back at you, and thanks for having me.
For those out there, I mean, Trixter's, I grew up with Trixter. But for those out there that might not be familiar with you, can you give us a little background on your career?
Well, the band was put together in grade school, essentially. Steve started the band back in grade school, and back in Paramus, New Jersey, and I joined the band in 1987, I think. Maybe I was 14.
Wow.
And 2 years later, we got a record deal. Made a record, boom, #1 videos on MTV, arena tours, the dream come true. And then, screeching halt, Seattle comes through like a hurricane, wipes it all out. We take about a 13-year hiatus, and in 2008, we put it back together. There's a resurgence of our genre, and maybe it's what's the resurgence. A lot of bands had continued on the Poison, Firehouse, Warrant, kind of, all those bands were pushing through all these years, whereas we put it to rest for a while. We all went out and did different things. I played with a number of different bands. Steve and I continued to write and make music, and then 2008 we just decided, let's try a couple of shows and see, test the waters and see how it feels, and it felt just like it always did. So we just continued on. We never stopped. That's since 2008. So we've been doing the typical fairs and festivals and casinos and some packaged arena shows and littered in with some headlining club shows, and just doing the thing. We kind of just go out on the weekend, kind of weekend warrior stuff now. I mean, and we're able to balance our home life and stuff, and get a little rock and roll in. We released 2 full-length original records in the last 4 years on Frontiers Records, New Audio Machine and Human Era, which came out in June last year, and they were both really well received. I mean, it was really encouraging. For a band like us, we're not used to getting good reviews, so it's like, we felt like a different band. We're like, wow, wait, these reviews are good? Deal with that. So it was cool. That's where we are now.
That is so awesome. And you came up with all those other bands that you mentioned. And when I first heard you guys back in the day, I fell in love with you guys. You were fresh. You were totally different. And you're right. After all that went down and you guys kind of fell off the face of the planet, I was like, where the hell did they go? And then when you came back, I was like, all right, it's about time. I was very pleased to see.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't have put it to rest. It was just, we couldn't work. We would have kept going, but come 1993-ish, 94, there just wasn't any place for us. So we're like, all right, well, let's not beat a dead horse. Let's cash in our lucky chips and try some other things. We were all very young still. Bill wanted to try different things anyway, and but I mean, had there been a place for us, if a radio station would play a Trixter song, we'd be giving it to them, but it just wasn't happening. So we just we're like, all right, well, let's just give it a break for a little bit.
Right. No, and that's totally understandable. I didn't mean to say that it was due to you guys. I mean, obviously.
No, I know.
That it changed. The whole format of music changed. It's weird because it almost took a different direction so fast that you didn't even have time to catch up. So, again, I'm glad you guys came back. Your 2 newest albums, as you stated, I thought they were fabulous. As you said, you recently released a CD with Trixter called Human Era, but more recently with a solo CD called Boutique Sound Frames. What made you decide to embark on a solo career?
I don't know if I'm so much embarking in a solo career as much as I just felt it was time to put out my record. I just felt like, I've been working on these songs for years. And when I first started working on them, it was at a time where it meant it was just, it's always been tough to get a record deal and stuff, but Steve and I had a couple of bands after Trixter that we were really so close to getting a record deal and kind of starting over again, and it just, for one reason or another, it didn't happen, and I was writing these other songs all along that way, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to write these songs, and if I can listen to them, that's fine. I can't put myself through that fight and that battle to try to get into a label's office. I just don't want it. I said, I don't care if just my friends hear these songs. This is purely an expression and nothing else. Not meant for any goal, any particular record. It's just me writing songs and recording them. And the thought of trying to put out a record at that weird time where it was like you had to have a record label still, because the internet wasn't all that it is now. And the labels were getting even stingier. I'm like, screw that. I want no part of it. I just these songs and make myself happy. I wound up sitting on them for a while, but now after putting out the last 2 Trixter records and going into that last record, Human Era, I'm like, you know what? While I'm in the studio and I'm in the mode, I'm just gonna go in and finish a couple songs and put it out. Nowadays all you have to do is put it out on YouTube and iTunes and whatnot, and have some physical copies, but you don't need the big machine. And even if you do, it's not going to change your life at this day and age. And to be true to where I came from with this record, I just want people to hear it. I'm not looking to take over the world with it or anything like that. That's not what it was ever about. So, now with the fact that once you have music, boom, you click your mouse and it's up in the cloud for everyone to listen to, or physical copies at pjfarley.net. So I'm just happy everyone can, you can Google my name and it'll come up and they'll hear my record. But you can get it from iTunes, Amazon, or like I said, and there's physical copies there and at my website, melodicrockrecords.com, which is the label that put it out. So, it's available, and that's all I really wanted. I didn't get back to your initial question. Not so much a career making of it as much as I'm putting the record out. I am starting to do some touring on it next month and, see where that goes. But, it's not going to be a long, drawn-out process. They're the ones that I know are going to be fun and worth it,
And you know what? It sounds like a smart approach on your side, because you're absolutely right to try to land a big record deal today. I mean, I've been watching music in the industry, since, I want to say 1970, 71, ever since I could start listening and comprehending what music was all about. And I'll tell you, it's taken a dramatic turn in so many different directions, all due to, as you stated, the internet, and it's just exploded as far as that goes. I have to be completely truthful here. I really enjoyed listening to Boutique Sound Frames. It is a totally different sound. Was there any difference, or was it any harder for you to go in as a solo artist to do this than compared to, say, going in as Trixter to record a CD?
No, it felt pretty much the same. I mean, for me, the way the record was recorded, I played everything on the record, from the drums to, guitars, bass, everything.
Wow.
And, a lot of the times the way we do Trixter records are, me and Steve, back in the day, I would come up with the structure of the drum parts or the skeleton of it, before we get Gus in there. And, the only difference was this time it was me going in and banging everything out. I don't know, I didn't really notice too much of a difference, except the fact that it was me doing everything.
That's pretty impressive in itself, I gotta admit, and, good work. That's gotta be pretty hard to play all the instruments to put all this together.
Funny, it's because 80% of the record was recorded, back before Pro Tools and all of the studio magic was really finalized and out there.
Right.
So I'm in there, banging out drums, maybe a splice here or two, but there's a lot of truth on those tracks.
Speaking of that, I want to touch upon a couple tracks here. The second track off this CD, You'd Stick Out, has a very comfortable and likable quality to it. What is the story behind that track?
It's actually a song I wrote about my wife when I first met her, and it's really as simple as that. It was one of those songs, you always hear, who you've interviewed, talk about a song, you talk about that song that just came so quick, and that was one of them. I
really like this entire CD, I gotta be honest with you, especially the track Sucker Punch. What can you tell us about that song?
That song is just it's one of the longest songs on the record, I think. But it's the centerpiece of the record. It's got a lot of mood to it, It's got a killer hook, I think, but it's got mood, it's almost like a little movie. It kind of sucks you in and, kind of commands your attention, because it doesn't give it all to you at once. It's not just bam, right from the start. It eases you in, and then it hits you with a good hook, and then it brings you back and makes you wait for it a little bit. And I thought that was good to put in the middle of the record to kind of break it up a little bit. And, it's just a song about having a crush, really, maybe somebody that whether it be a real crush of somebody that or if it's just somebody who, from the distance.
Keeping It All Together is another stellar song. What can you tell us about this track, and what went into this song?
Lyrically, lyrically, it's about, I wrote it at a time where it just dawned on me, like, I'd been writing a lot, and and completing songs and stuff, and a lot of stuff that I've been doing, done up to that was helping Steve get his thoughts across, and, we would write together and stuff, and along sidelined by that, I was writing these complete songs, and what a good feeling it is. Once you finish a song, it's like, man, it just got me thinking about how the connection between your mind and your physical body is so strong, and it plays such a big effect on your life that some people don't realize, and when you connect those two, the mind and the body, and keep it all together, there's nothing like it. There's times where your mind and your body aren't connected, and you know that as well. But when it's all together, you're in the moment, there's really nothing like it.
I got to be honest with you on this one too. I totally agree with that style of philosophy, because you have to have them both working in conjunction with one another to get the best possible out of yourself. As stated earlier, you are with Trixter and have gone out on a solo career as well. What was it like changing speed, so to speak, when you go from a band to a solo career? Is there an actual difference between going from a band to going solo?
Well, sure. It's, especially for a guy like me who's always been band mentality, band-oriented, always want to be part of a band. I never really craved to be the guy, John Bon Jovi, but I always, kind of thrived on being a valuable player in a part of something. That's a position I like. So this was, a bit of a step for me in the sense that, when I do interviews and stuff, I got to talk about nothing but me and the songwriting process. And these songs are very personal, and, in Trixter, Steve writes, most, if not all the lyrics, a lot of the time. So, this time, everything's mine. So, it's a little different approach there, in the sense that, you're definitely getting more of a glimpse into me and my life, and me as a person and musician, just speaking about it, and, knowing that people are listening to my music, they're definitely making a connection with me. So, and that's a great feeling for me. And also now I'm just starting to rehearse the band, and it's a different position in the sense that I'm in the middle now.
Right.
I'm thinking I'm playing guitar, and I got a bass player next to me.
Well, and that's the thing. I know there's a difference from a band to a solo career, but it's like you're going from a team playing situation to being the boss. So
yeah.
I try to look at it like that as far as that goes, but it looks to me like you have a few shows coming up in the future. What can you tell us about your up-and-coming schedule?
Well, I have the first ever full band show coming up October 5th in Englewood, New Jersey at the Bergen Pack Center with opening for Bret Michaels. So that would be great. Obviously been playing with him for years, so him and his whole camp and his band they're all brothers, so it'll be a comfortable gig for me. And then the end of October I got a little run. I have October 27th in Green Bay. I have October 28th in, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Kadui, something with a C, Wisconsin. And then I have a festival in Joliet, Illinois, Lock and Skull, which is going to be great. That's an ongoing festival for a couple of years now, and Trixter played it last year. 3-day festival out there. It's really good, so I'm excited to do that too. And, working on something for New York and LA, and whatever else might come my way that's interesting and doable.
No, and that's awesome, man. I'm glad to see you guys came back. I'm glad to see that you've gone out, as far as a solo career, because you love what you do, obviously, and it shows in what you produce and what you put out. It's always amazing to me when I speak to artists all the time. Although you all play music, you all have different interpretations on how you perceive the music in your own ways, and it's just... It really intrigues me to pick the brain of an artist, because it really is. You get so much diversity with every artist. It's amazing. And Trixter, your new solo CD is, I love Trixter. I love this CD, Boutique Sound Frames, and I hope you do very well with it. Other than promoting Boutique Sound Frames in your solo tour schedule, is there anything else coming up for PJ Farley and or Trixter the fans might not know about?
Not that I know of, or not that I could pull off the top of my head right now. I think Trixter is always an ongoing. We have we're going to the UK in October for the first time, which is great, and we have a couple more shows for the end of the year. Shows are coming in for next year, so that'll always be a well-oiled machine. So, and it's always a lot of fun to go out and do. The four of us get together, and laugh our asses off, and have fun playing music. Make a little money, and just have a good time. Really, most importantly, and just those dates we go out are special. We're not out there every weekend grinding it out. So once, twice a month or something like that. In the summer it's more, but they're a lot of fun, and we put a lot into it, and I think it shows. So, but as far as stuff coming up that you don't know about, not really. I am shooting a new video in LA next week, so that should be premiering that beginning of October. Keep your eyes out for that.
Very interesting.
Check pjfarley.net and my Facebook, PJ Farley Music on Facebook, and Instagram, Twitter at PJFarley1. All the usual social media sites. I'm pretty easy to find.
I want to take the time right now to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, solo artist, bass player for the band Trixter, Mr. PJ Farley. I hope to see more coming from Trixter in the next couple of years. I hope to see more from you. Boutique Sound Frames is really a well-rounded CD that is very enjoyable to listen to. I wish you the best with this CD. I wish you the best with Trixter, and keep on rocking, man, and good luck with it all.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate the kind words and the support for having me on. It's great.
No problem. Again, ladies and gentlemen, solo artist PJ Farley from the band Trixter. Again, thanks, man. Great talking to you, and again, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, Greg.
All right, cool.
All right, bud. Thank you, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. PJ Farley, solo artist and bass player for the band Trixter. I am Greg, aka Crazy G, with NECR New England Concert Reviews, and don't forget, pjfarley.net. I thank you. I'll be back with more. Have a good one. Later.